Come on, goody girl. Let's give them some organic good food. Change your life. Change is good. Good is right. We're taking it to a whole nother level. Organic food is the cure to love and life. Yeah. We take good living to a whole nother level. Come on and go with me. Change your food. Change your life. Don't you wanna go? Don't you wanna ride on the good side? To a whole nother level. We're taking it higher and higher and higher and higher. That's the show. We take good living to a whole nother level. Change your food, change your life. Change is good, good is right. We take good living to a whole nother level. Yeah.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on when and where you're listening to the Change Your Food, Change Your Life show on Rainier Avenue Radio World. I'm Dennis Weaver, your good food guide and founder of Change Your Food, Change Your Life, a fun, high-energy, good health edutainment company with song, story, and entertaining guests designed to inform, encourage, coach, and inspire you to make 100% organic good food choices. Foods that are life-giving, not life-diminishing. Remember, eating good equals feeling good. That's the equation for the good life. That fun opening cut of Good Living you just heard is from our Change Your Food, Change Your Life presents Good Living, a compilation CD album, and its title track is performed by Anna Maria Paisley. It is the worldwide organic good food anthem, with officially registered fans from Sri Lanka to Seattle, Israel to Iowa, Poland to Pittsburgh. So the next time you hear it playing, stand. Our producer, D Money, always does right here in the studio, and appreciate it. You can catch D Money on his own show, Fresh Juice, on Wednesday nights, full of cool entertainers. You can get yourself the Good Living CD at Change Your Food, Change Your Life, changeyourfoodchangeyourlife.com. On the Change Your Food, Change Your Life show, we've had guests from all around the United States, Canada, and Mexico who talk, write, grow, mine, farm, police, buy, prepare, serve, make, teach, design, package, and sing about organic good food. They create organic cosmetics, advocate and lobby for organic good food. They read to children about organic good food. They talk about the good health of organic good food. They use organic good food as therapy. They juice organic good food fruit. They grow organic cotton t-shirts. I'm wearing one right now. They help with gluten-free choices, offer zero-waste, package-free shopping. They lift spirits with organic floral essences and handcraft an organic sofa so soft you'll go, ah. Uncle Matt himself of Uncle Matt's Organic Juices, the Mistress of Mushrooms, the Queen of Dairyland, the Cactus Tamer, Ms. Healthy Wave, Ms. Zero Waste, the Salt Miner, the Hamster, the Science Storyteller, the Professor of Pickling, the Upcycler, and Ms. Bear Life, to name just a few of the previous guests on the Change Your Food, Change Your Life show, all working hard to make that healthful difference in your life. I've told you the story of Mary and Tanya when a bean is not a bean, and I proved it costs less to live the organic good food life than not. And if that's not enough for you, we've had the Change Your Food, Change Your Life show musical. You're listening to Dennis Weaver, good food guide and host of the Change Your Food, Change Your Life show on Rainier Avenue Radio World. Taste the richness of life with Rich Nuts. A number one selling snack in LA's celebrity favorite luxury Erewhon supermarkets. And as they say, if it's here, it's good for you. Rich Nuts is also a top new nut brand on Amazon. Why? Because Rich Nuts are the perfect snack. Organic, delicious, savory sage, crunchy curry, maple pecan, cinnamon walnut, and sprouted to release all their goodness for your good health and dehydrated for crunchiness. And there's money in nuts too. Rich Nuts is a Los Angeles company, but Richard Pauwels lives in beautiful Puerto Rico. So now, calling in from Puerto Rico, a retired California firefighter and paramedic, the nut master himself, here's Rich Pauwels.
Hello, everybody.
Everybody, hello back. Welcome, Rich, to the Change Your Food, Change Your Life show on Rainier Avenue Radio World.
I'm so excited to share with you about nuts today.
Well, let's talk some nuts. Your mission is a good one. Yeah, it's both a personal choice and a business direction. Describe to our audience.
I watched this amazing TED Talk by a guy named Simon Sinek, and he said it all starts with why. And my why is I believe that we need to connect to nature through our food source. So it was just perfect that this whole food business landed in my lap because I can really move that mission forward through my business. And one of the powerful things about connecting to nature through your food source is that you can bring in, a triple bottom line, which we'll talk about later: people, planet, profit. Very exciting for me. And really, one of the things I love about it is that I believe that the children, my why is that I believe the children of this generation and future generations deserve a better earth, a greener earth, and a more just earth.
Aren't you the nice guy? you were a California firefighter and paramedic. So why now Rich Nuts?
Yeah, that's correct. I actually discovered the joy of sprouting because of my work as a firefighter. As you can imagine, on those brush fires in California, as you see on the news all the time, we're out there, busting our butts for hours at a time, and we have no food. The options are prison sack lunches, MREs, and sometimes fast food. None of that really worked for me because I had already claimed my food sovereignty and started eating organically. And I would eat raw organic cashews, and instead of getting the energy I wanted, I would get gassy, bloated, I'd have brain fog. So I started doing some research. I found out about sprouting nuts and how it would help with my digestive issues. I started experimenting with it, and next thing you know, I had a big hit on my hands.
Probably the one thing you don't want is brain fog when you're fighting a fire, wondering where you are at the time, right?
That's correct. You're trying not to die, so you don't want to be confused.
And yeah, and none of the other options were actually fuel for your body.
Yeah,
they were just something to eat, but they contain no fuel.
Yeah, that's correct. They contained a bunch of preservatives and random stuff I didn't really want to eat, so I didn't have many choices.
When you first started to offer organic sprouted nuts to your firefighter crews for their health, energy, and stamina, did they think that you were nuts?
I'm pretty sure they already knew I was nuts. But once they tried the end result, it wasn't a product at the time, but once they tried the nuts, I would tell them, I would carry them around in this glass mason jar. And I'd be like, hey, I made these nuts. And they'd be like, what do you mean you made them? And I would explain my process of sprouting and then dehydration and seasoning. And they were like, wow, okay, let's try them. And they were really blown away. And I couldn't stop them from eating them.
So after pushing you away, they said, bring more.
Yeah, basically, they every time I walked in the room, everyone would put out their hands and say, "You got any more of those nuts you made?"
and who was going to underwrite the larger kitchen, right? Why is your baseline organic?
Well, I just didn't want anything artificial on my food, like pesticides. I didn't want anything that was genetically engineered. So I always look for that USDA organic symbol because I knew that meant that those things were not allowed, and that was important to me.
And you carry that USDA organic seal right on the front of the Rich Nut packages.
That's correct. Yes,
for all to see. Right.
Yes. Yeah.
As one of the first attributes, in fact.
Your
really package. Yeah, your package, Rich Nuts, tastes the richness of life, and then one of the first attributes is the organic seal. Why did you choose to sprout the nuts? Benefits.
Yep. So the benefits are this. So basically, nuts and seeds have evolved over time to survive our digestive tract. So the plants concentrate certain substances like phytic acid and lectins, which by design block, inhibit, and disrupt our digestion, allowing that nut or seed to pass through this hole and grow into a new plant. So what we do to mitigate that is we soak them in water to activate them, puts them into a growth phase where they become more digestible and therefore more nutritious.
So their vitamins and minerals are released for your digestion. They're more bioavailable, to use a scientific term.
That's correct. They become more bioavailable, so your body can actually assimilate them and use them.
Because you've opened the goodness of what's contained in the harder shell of the nut.
That's correct. Yeah, you put them into that growth phase, like when they're in their raw kernel state, they have a chemical shield which allows them to pass through us. So once you activate them, they go into that growth phase, and that's when they start to become more digestible.
From Los Angeles, California, but calling in from Puerto Rico, Rich Pauwels, creator, founder, Rich Nuts. Taste the richness of life. This is the Change Your Food, Change Your Life show on Rainier Avenue Radio World. What's the process of sprouting?
Yeah, so it's pretty simple, although it is time consuming and it is a very natural process. It's occurring all over the world in nature constantly. So basically, we soak them in water for a certain period of time, and then we allow them to germinate. And that's the growth phase. And from there, we season them lightly and then we dehydrate them. So the whole process is basically three parts, but it takes anywhere from 36 to 48 hours. So it is very time consuming.
I was not aware that the process took that long.
Yeah, the soaking and germination part is about 24 hours. And then depending on the nut and the type of dehydration machine you have, that part takes another 8 to 24 hours.
So unlike the other sprouted dehydrated that are just unshelled and put in a bag, rich nuts are quite different.
Yeah, that's correct. The sprouting in some way obviously makes them more digestible. We talked about that part, but it changes the texture in a way that makes them lighter and crunchier. And now I can't even really eat raw cashews because they taste waxy and kind of dense to me. It's really fascinating how it changes that texture.
And of course, they're not made by you, so why? You're committed to 100% regenerative sourcing. Explain that.
Yeah, so in 2016, I read this white paper. It's called Soil Carbon Restoration, Can Biology Do the Job? And it was written by the, what was it called? The Northeast Organic Farming Association of Massachusetts. And in that study, they found that if the whole world converted over to regenerative agriculture in 5 years without any cuts to emissions, we could avert the climate crisis. And that was the best news I had heard in a long time. And the reason is because regenerative agriculture sequesters 3 to 7 times more carbon per square acre. And additionally, it produces 30% more nutritious food. So it was like a win-win, and it made so much sense to me.
No kidding. What are the recipe flavors, the variety offered by Rich Nuts?
Yeah, so we have 6 flavors in production. Savory Sage was the original. And that one came just because I was living in Topanga and I had sage and rosemary growing on the land there. So I just went outside and add that in with some liquid aminos. And that was the first flavor that was a runaway hit. The second flavor was a crunchy curry. And that was inspired by my trip to Pondicherry. I went to this Indian spice market and I bought kilos of spices and brought them back and developed that flavor. Maple pecan, it's very tasty, light sweetness, really good. And then there's a trail mix with the curry cashew and the maple pecan, along with goji berries, blueberries, and raisins. Of course, everything is organic. Then we have brilliant balsamic, which is balsamic vinegar and garlic on a walnut. We also have a cinnamon walnut crunch, which I would say.
And where were you when you discovered that recipe?
Which one?
The balsamic vinegar one.
Oh, I was in LA. Yeah. Yeah. I just wanted I really love savory flavors. And I think that each nut, so my flavor philosophy is that nuts actually taste good. So I try to work with the natural flavor of the nuts. I find that oftentimes commercially available stuff is over seasoned, like too salty, too sweet. They throw a bunch of Cool Ranch on there and you could be eating cardboard. You don't even know.
How did you develop the recipes for your lineup of sweet and savory, organic, good food, sprouted rich nuts?
Yeah, well, that's an interesting thing because I was never a food flavor guru before. So what I did is I started this process of iteration. And what that means to me is I kept failing forward. So I would try all these crazy random things and, 80% of them would be terrible and I'd have to get rid of them. But 2 out of 10 would be okay. And then I would start working with the ratios of the ingredients. And I took meticulous notes. And I did a lot of trial and error, and I just kept going at it over and over again. And when I thought I had something pretty nice, I would bring it out and get customer feedback at our farmers markets. And I would see how people reacted to it. And I would see, where I could go from there if I needed more salt, a little bit more sweet. And I would just continually iterate.
From an organic good food snack offered, you personally offering it to your crews and friends out of canisters, how did you get to store shelves?
Well, first we started out with a cottage food industry license, which is basically something that anyone can get, and you can make it in your kitchen at home. And I would take those products out to farmers markets. There are some restrictions, like you can't sell on the internet, but you could sell locally in stores, and you can sell to farmers markets. So I started doing that and experimenting just to see if there was a market, to see if, you know, anyone other than my friends would pay for this. You know what I mean?
That's right. Yeah. And they did.
And they did.
Is there someone else in the Rich Nuts empire who needs to be thanked? Who's the goddess in chief?
Yes, my beautiful wife, Divine Goddess Pele. About a year and a half ago, I made her the CEO of our business, which is great because she is an incredible example of feminine leadership. I mean, I was in the Navy and then I was a fireman, so I had all these like very masculine, do as I say examples of leadership. And then I met her at Burning Man, and I saw her lead a team of what I would call the Bad News Bears to the Creative Olympics, and she won gold. And I was really impressed with that. And I love the way that she gets the best out of the team by nourishing them. And since our whole business is about nourishing humanity and nourishing the planet, it made perfect sense to put her in charge.
So her opening line at a farmer's market, yours was, here, try these. Hers was a little more subtle.
This is really funny because at the farmer's market, people would be walking by and I'd try to give them samples, and I would say, hey, you want to try some nuts? And they'd look at me funny and keep walking. And then I would say, you want to try the best nuts ever? And they would get this look like, I'll be the judge of that. And they would come stomping over. And that's how I developed the language, the communication to get people interested.
Yeah. That's a live survey. A live survey. More businesses, in fact, before they jump off there with what they think is the best product ever, should probably follow your lead on how you developed, what's the recipe, who likes what and who doesn't like what.
Yeah, farmers markets are a great way to test your product to see if there is a market for it. I had been giving them out to friends and family to the point where eventually I was spending $700 a month on raw cashews. And not even accounting for my time or anything, but I was like, hey guys, this is not sustainable. You're going to have to start paying me. And they were willing to pay me, but how about complete strangers? Would they be willing to buy this product? And so farmers market was an excellent way to test that.
This is the Change Your Food, Change Your Life show on Rainier Avenue Radio World. And you're listening to Richard Pauwels, entrepreneur, creator of Rich Nuts. As Rich says, while many nuts out there might be squirrel tested, ours are firefighter approved. Rich Nuts is a triple bottom line business. Give us the what and why.
Yeah. So as I was growing up, I learned about this thing called externalities, right, in business. And externalities are things that they didn't account for in their business model. Like, for instance, producing carbon. Now, here we are, 50 years later, and we're like, wow, we're going to have to start accounting for this or we're going to have a major problem. So our business plan is to bring in the externalities, including our carbon production. So our triple bottom line of people, planet, profit means that, of course, all the people we interact with, we want to do so with authenticity and with integrity. And we want to bring people up, including the farmers, right? And then the planet, obviously, if we don't have a planet to inhabit, we're all in a bad place. So we think about the planet and the impact of our product and production on that.
I don't think I had to write that down. Go ahead.
Yeah. And if we're not profitable, then it's not sustainable. So we have to make a profit for us to continue to do this. We can't just continue to give out free nuts forever. I learned that pretty quickly.
It's better to have a couple of dollars in your pocket and a good planet, which you can accomplish with Rich Nuts, right?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. It's definitely a labor of love, and I enjoy it. And really educating people and sharing about organic and sprouted. Those are two of my favorite things to do.
To someone in our audience who might have an entrepreneurial dream of their own, you say, bring your ideas into the world. I like that. And if you can do it, anyone can. How so?
Yeah, that's right. Well, the little known fact about me was that I was actually born in prison to heroin addicts. So if I can, get my life together, bring a product into the world, become a firefighter and do all these things, anyone can. So there's a thing about really creating your reality. And I feel like a lot of people go around with the victim mentality, right? Where they blame everything else for their circumstances. But if you take full responsibility for your life and how it's showing up, you can claim your strength, your sovereignty, and your power, and you can bring any product into the world. I mean, it has to make sense, right? If nobody likes it, that's, not a good idea. But we need everyone's creativity, everyone's light, everyone's spark. It's important for us because I believe that we have the opportunity to create Garden of Eden right here on the planet Earth. We just need to start showing up and treating the planet like that, and that's what we'll get.
I love your term, own your sovereignty. If you're a victim mentally, it's hard to get out of your own way because you think it's someone else's fault. So I love your own your sovereignty. Powerful.
Yeah, it's a mindset. It's a mindset, and it's a winning mindset. And you have to remember that you get to go up, and you get to show up, and you get to create, and you get to be here. It's a privilege.
And you're a live demonstration of that. We've just been given a sign by our producer that we're almost out of time. So with the last remaining moments, I'm going to ask this. What's your favorite flavor of rich nuts, and how many packages a day, every day, do you recommend we enjoy?
Yeah, my favorite flavor is the cinnamon walnut crunch. It tastes like Cinnamon Toast Crunch cereal, but it's good for you. And I would say you eat at least 1 to 3 packages a day, depending on how active you are.
Mine would be the savory sage. I'm in on that.
Yeah, that's a delicious one too.
Well, thank you so much, Rich, for the show today and for supporting our good health and energy with your perfectly delicious, nutrient-dense snack, your organic good food sprouted, dehydrated for crunchiness, recipeed rich nuts.
Thank you so much for having me on, Dennis.
It's been a informative show. To see and read about this happy couple, Rich and Samantha, and their adventures, the reason for being, and the why of Rich Nuts, go to richnuts.com, richnuts.com. After reading the ingredients, as an example, my favorite, the savory sage, artisanal sprouted organic cashews, coconut aminos, organic rosemary, organic sage, and sea salt, you'll jump right on the shop button. Remember, if you want to taste the richness of life, go to richnuts.com. Again, that's richnuts.com. Does the Change Your Food, Change Your Life show bring you the most interesting guests or what? Rich Pauwels, the nut master himself. Don't ever miss an episode of the Change Your Food, Change Your Life show. You'll be sorry, and you won't be as smart and healthy as you could be. Thank you again, Rich.
I'm so grateful. Thank you.
It's been a fun, nutty show. You've been listening to my organic good food friend, Richard Pauwels, creator of craveable rich nuts, organic sprouted, recipeed from savory to sweet. This is the Change Your Food, Change Your Life show on Rainier Avenue Radio.world. In the weeks following, sometimes you'll spend the full half hour with me, your good food guide. Other times with a live studio guest. Pastor Gary L. White sang here in the studio. The good Dr. Herb Joner Bay made a house call. And Gage Mitchell, Modern Species, arrived here with organic good food wines and chocolates for a pre-show party. And calling guests as Rich did today. Coming up, more organic good food stars in the story, sweet potatoes and booze. And yes, we're waiting for her, our internationally acclaimed designer darling Nina Morgan-Jones when she returns from London to Hollywood. She's getting closer, was in the south of France for a while, collaborating with an Italian designer. Organic good food has its glam, Check out Nina's rompboutique.com. Yeah, that's rompboutique.com. She sent me a note from London about our new collection with pictures. Romp and roll, baby. In the meantime, feel free to call me, your good food guide, Dennis, at 425-774-8971, 425-774-8971, or email changeyourfood@hotmail.com, changeyourfood@hotmail.com. You can get yourself a copy of the songs you've heard today, Good Living, and As We Go Out, Go O, and our Good Living compilation CD album at changeyourfoodchangeyourlife.com, changeyourfoodchangeyourlife.com. There are 16 tracks on the CD, 16 songs that celebrate the joy organic good food brings to life. Jazz, pop, rap, gospel, blues. You can exercise to it, dance to it, sing to it, shop to it, barbecue to it, eat to it, drink to it, learn to it. Lift up your day to it. Be inspired by it. It is many diverse voices coming together, but with one message. Our Change Your Food, Change Your Life artist ambassadors hope that one of their songs catches your ear and makes that healthful difference in your life. Songs from our Good Living CD are playing 24/7 in every country in the world, 195 countries, attracting officially registered fans from around the world. That's never been done before. That's history made, period. You've been listening to Dennis Weaver, good food guide and host of the Change Your Food, Change Your Life show, and calling in from Puerto Rico, the nuttiest guy I know, Richard Pauwels, creator, organic good food, sprouted, dehydrated for crunchiness, recipeed, rich nuts. This is Rainier Avenue Radio.world. And be sure to get yourself the hot new Rainier Avenue Radio.world app so you can take Rich and me with you. And it's free, videos, live broadcasts, and all the radio shows wherever you are. Change your food, change your life. Begin living the organic good food life, and the rest of your life just may be the best of your life. You'll have no anxiety. You'll feel better than when you began. You'll probably look better, have more energy, and be a few pounds lighter. Well, then why not change your food, change your life forever? Honor yourself by making 100% organic good food choices. Make that commitment to yourself, and if you do, over the years, you'll thank yourself over and over again for having made that decision. So I wish each and every one of you in the audience our very, very best, and that you may find your good health and happiness as we have. Thank you for listening. O's up to your health.
I'm gonna go, oh, go, oh, go, oh, go, oh, ooh, yeah, I'm gonna go, oh, go, oh, go, oh, go, oh, and I feel so good.